Oh, I made it lower. There we go. Okay. Now that's better. Okay.
Yeah.
The one that Elaine Roth cannot see, it seems to be frozen in there. She's been
Yeah, she's not moving.
Okay, that's good.
she's been trying to connect to audio for
Mark, I gotta get on the other thing. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Right, bye-bye. Mm-hmm.
What do you say?
I got called back on it.
Oh, there's Harriet.
Harry.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Harriet.
Hi, guys.
We're all here. Well, part of us anyway.
Oh, some of us.
Some of us, yeah.
Some of us, right?
Shabbat Shalom, and full disclosure now, we're on YouTube, so whatever you say is being heard around the world.
Oh my God.
Early today.
It's not really being heard around the world, but it can be.
I thought it didn't go on until 6 o'clock. I thought this was just the schmoozing time.
Well, right now there's 2 people watching on YouTube. One of them is the live feed, so there's really only 1 member who's joined us so far.
Okay.
So I don't know
Early.
if we can't tell who's there, so maybe it's like Mark or who else is there on YouTube?
I forgot.
You gonna turn on?
Shabbat Shalom, Larry.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
I see everybody got here early today.
Did you eat dinner yet, Harriet? Later?
No, we ate now. I
Did
rushed
you really? Oh, we're gonna eat later.
Yeah.
Too early. I was too busy playing on the computer, so. Seriously? Are you gonna turn it on?
I'm trying to get done.
Oh, jeez.
But
How are you? Good
here.
for you.
Say
There he is.
Hey, guy.
Not too many on.
Yeah. Les came on now. Yeah.
Barry? I just saw Barry for a second there. Shabbat Shalom, Barry.
Shabbat Shalom, how are you?
Okay.
I just ran to the other room to get the phone, and that's why you heard background noise.
I sent you an email.
But it has some of the same words.
I assume you'll be here tomorrow.
Backwards.
And I sent you an email saying it sounds good, or I think I said thank you. Yeah, I'll be there or here.
Okay.
And you'll, if you're hosting,
I have your honors. I don't have any Torah readers though.
if you're hosting, I want you to have the names so you can spotlight them.
So I have the names, but I have the names for the prayers, but not for any Torah readers.
Background.
Right, I don't have the Torah readers either.
Okay. Then we're good.
Hello, Harriet and Jack and all the rest of you lovely people.
Hi.
And
Shabbos,
Leslie.
everyone.
Good Shabbos, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Is it warm enough for everybody?
Perfect, beautiful.
Les said it was
Right.
109.
Hey,
Oh,
I
I
got
don't
to
wanna
111
know.
on the car.
111.
111 on the car thermometer.
We don't go
Yes,
out
between the
much.
humidity and the heat, it was totally unbearable.
Harriet, I'm enjoying that book about the Sudan, by the way, about the lost boys. Did
Yeah,
you read that one?
I did, yeah.
It's very, I think Gail would like that one, actually, with maybe Larry, about the lost boys of the Sudan, the ones who marched across the desert. It's really,
Amazing
it's
story.
really interesting.
Yeah.
I'll save it for you.
Yes,
Okay.
we'll be happy to take it.
Yeah, a few years ago, I saw a documentary about that, and it was truly an amazing story.
Yeah,
Very interesting story, it really is. And when it's, it's one person who's telling his story, what they went through is unbelievable.
Kids who cannot have a place to sit down, they can come in there early. Yeah.
What is the name of that movie we saw last night?
Well, Shabbat Shalom, Dave.
I can't remember.
Shabbat shalom.
It's wrong. It should have been R instead of is. I don't remember. It's what is. But there are more. There were more of them than they said.
There are more of us,
That's the name
more
of
of
it.
them.
I can't remember the name. I don't want to say it, but I don't remember.
More of us.
That's not the name of it, but
I did not change my shirt.
Oh, no, yours didn't have something nasty on it.
Yeah.
it was really
You're not in.
a love story more than anything else.
Mhm.
Love will find a way.
It's so quiet.
Yeah, nobody's
Well,
gossiping.
you told us we're on YouTube.
Yeah, but there's only one person watching.
Oh, okay.
But whoever you are, we're glad you're with us, even though we don't know who you are.
Who are you?
So have we ever figured out why we live in the valley? I have a friend in Palos Verdes. She said it was 77 degrees today.
Bless you.
Woo,
Thank you.
gesund. Wow,
We didn't know when we settled that it was gonna be so hot here. Who knew?
yes, yes.
Coming from back east, Gail, could we ever figure it would be so hot? We
No.
knew humidity, but we didn't know temperature.
Not these
No.
kinds of temperatures.
No, that's what I said.
It was nothing today. I played 3 sets of tennis.
At what time?
We started at 7:30. We finished at about 10:30. It was 92 when I got off the court.
Yeah.
Why are some people on there without pictures? They don't have pictures on their camera, on their phone.
They might. They may be eating dinner and don't want to show us, show themselves putting food in their mouths. They
Yeah.
may
Shabbat
have.
shalom, Roberta and Paul.
Hey,
Hi, everybody. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Hello.
Did you get the picture?
It's a wrap, right?
Rabbi,
Hello. They're coming on.
Renee.
don't know. They told her every Jew what Pepperah.
Today, we actually have the
Aha, here.
Ah, Chazan is back.
that happened. This is the beginning of the possibility that people will be held accountable for the conspiracy to target the Trump campaign through an illegal
Next week we have bar mitzvah, am I right?
administration to criminally leak about them.
So I just found out the first person who was on YouTube was actually Maxine Simon, who says hi to everybody.
When it does, Attorney General Barr has said that people will be held accountable. And when it doesn't, he says, we're still going to find out what happened and how it was that so many people in the government,
somebody has to turn their radio off or television.
in the media, were able to perpetrate this scheme against the Trump administration. So we find apparently.
Check 1, 2, can you hear me okay?
It's so funny.
Check 1, 2.
Someone's TV is on.
Check
Yeah.
1, 2, check
It's
1,
not
2.
muted, yeah.
Hold on, I'm going to mute everybody.
I don't want any.
That's better.
Ah,
Check 1, 2.
okay, now we can hear you. Try again.
Can you guys hear me okay?
That's good. Ralph, can you try again?
Check 1, 2, check 1, 2.
Yeah, you're faint compared to Chazan.
Check 1, 2, check 1, 2.
That's
Better,
good.
better. Is the tone okay though? It's not strident,
Strident. That's a
meaning
tough word
it's
for
not
me.
high pitched.
No, you're not high pitched.
Cool.
Not
It sounds like our normal voices.
It sounds like your normal voices through the internet.
Thank you. We're just tweaking every single week. We have some new lighting. Hopefully it makes us bright but doesn't wash us out. Seems very bright. Is there a way to, but those don't dim, do they? We have some new background lighting. Can you tell the difference on the arc? The arc should be glowing, maybe? Somewhat.
Yes, it's well lit, but we see the stained glass windows even better
Oh, well.
because the sun's shining through.
Yeah, we can't compete with the light of the sun.
That's nice. I have, it's in my office. I'm okay. I'll make it through.
We're going short sleeves, no jackets. It's very hot. The air's been on for a while, but it's still only cooled it down to about 80 in the sanctuary. So that's why we're casual, even though we're indoors.
Not casual. Not casual. Wearing shirts.
I have my first time without a jacket in a few months.
Yeah, it's warm. What a lovely summer Shabbat we have, though. If you're have a pool, it'll be nice to go into your pool tomorrow. And
You could be in your pool right now with us. If you have one of those outdoor TVs, I mean, it's amazing technology. We wouldn't know. Turn your video camera off. Hopefully you have a cold drink with you. I'm imagining that when we restart services indoors, not only will we have to rearrange the chairs,
That's all the volume you can
but
get.
we'll
I'm
have to
not
have
getting
little
any more than you are.
trays in front of all the tables because people will be so used to snacking during services that I don't think they'll be able to go back to not having a drink and something to eat when you're here. Which wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. You ready to get started?
I'm ready.
Fantastic.
I'm ready.
Thank you all for joining us. Rabbi Sela here with Chazan Friedman in a scorching Northridge town. It's only 100 degrees outside, so inside it feels lovely that it's only 80.
92.
92. Right. And next week I heard it's going up to 109 on Tuesday.
Oh my goodness.
So make sure your AC is working.
Stay
All right.
indoors.
Without further ado, we'll get started. We're on page 10 for Yedid Nefesh, page 10.
Yedid Nefesh Av HaRachaman Mishochav Dach Eretz Sonach Yarutz Avdach Kemo Hayal Yishtachav Mul Hadarach Ki Erav Lo Yedidutach Minofet Suf Vechotah.
I thought you were going to do the whole.
I know you're waiting for it.
Why not?
Yada lai 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 yada lai 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 yada lai 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 yada lai 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 yada lai 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 yada lai 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 yada lai 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 yada lai 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 lai.
Page 11, Lechuneranena.
Lechuneranena, 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 ladonai. Lechuneranena, 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 ladonai. Naria, naria, letzori shenu, nekadma fana betoda. Naria, naria, letzor ishenu, bizmirot naria lo. Lechuneranena, 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 ladonai. Lechuneranena, 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 ladonai.
Turn ahead to page 14 at the triangle. Yismechu Hashamayim.
Yismechu Hashamayim.
Hashamayim.
Yismechu Hashamayim.
Hashamayim.
Yismechu Hashamayim. ותגל הארץ. יירם הים, יירם הים, יירם הים ומלוא, יירם הים, יירם הים, יירם הים ומלוא.
Turn ahead to page 20, page 23, lines from the bottom. Romemu.
רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו.
Turn ahead now to page 23. Page 23, Lechadodi. We'll do verses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, and 9.
לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. 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 שור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשמו דיברת ולתחילה. לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור המלאכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה. צבא זה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. מקדש מלך עיר מלוכה, קומי צאי מתוך ההפכה. רמלק שבט בעמק הבכה, והוא יגמול עלייכם לילה. לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התנערי מעפר קומי, לבשי בגדי תפארתך עמי, על יד בן ישי בית הלחמי. קרבה אל נפשי גאלה. לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, כי בעורק ומיורי, אורי, שיר דברי. כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת קלה, Panei Panei Shabbat Nikabela.
Verse 8.
Yamin usmol tifrotzi. ואת אדוני תריצי, על יד איש בן הפרצי, ונשמחה ונהגי, לילה 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 לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי, לקראת קלה, Panei Panei Shabbat Nikabela.
Please rise if you're able to face the entrance to whichever room you are in to welcome in the Shabbat bride. The final verse on page 25.
Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam besimcha u'betzola, tol kemune am segula, boi chala, לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
You can be seated again. We're on page 27, Mizmor Shir, the Psalm for Shabbat.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, להגיד בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות, עלי עשור ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון בחינוך, מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון.
Please continue privately through the bottom of the next page, page 28.
אודנו סבד שני ורעננים יהיו, להגיד כי אשר אדוני, סורי ולוב לטבו.
Page 29.
אדוני מלך לבש אדוני עוזי תזר, אף תיכון תבל בל תימוד. עדותיך נמנו מאוד לביתך נבקודש, אדוני לאורך ימים.
Those in mourning, those observing yahrzeit, please rise and join together with me in the mourner's Kaddish on page 30. If you're joining us through Zoom and you'd like, you can unmute your microphones now so that we can all join together in the Kaddish, page 30. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabba ve'alma divrach hirutei v'yamnich malachutei v'chayechon v'yomechon Bagala ובזמן קריב אמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבא מבורך לעולם ולמאה ומיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה בריחו אלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבא מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו Amen. If you're able to, please stand. We're on page 39A for the Baruch Hu, 39A.
Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la la la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la la. Ya la 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 la. Ya Ya la 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 la. Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach hamevorach leolam vaed hamevorach hamevorach leolam vaed Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam vaed.
You can be seated and we continue first privately in the Hebrew. Please join together with me in the English. We're on 39a, the far left-hand column where it says God and Nature, an interpretive translation. Beloved are you, eternal God, by whose design the evening falls, by whose command dimensions open up, and eons pass away, and stars spin in their orbits. You set the rhythms of day and night, the alternation of light and darkness sings your creating word. In rising sun and in spreading dusk, creator of all, you are made manifest. Eternal, everlasting God, may we always be aware of your dominion. Beloved are you, Adonai, for this hour of nightfall.
מעביר יום ולילה, מבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, נעצמו שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך הלל ועד, ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב ערבי.
Amen. We continue on page 40, Ahavat Olam.
אהבת עולם, בית ישראל, עמך אהבת, עמך אהבת, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נגה יומם ולילה, נגה יומם ולילה, באהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל.
Page 41, the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
Please continue privately on page 42. והיה. אמרתם אדם עליכם.
אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Page 43. ומודה אשר בי קיימת, גזלת דיברת. Please join with me in the English on page 43b. You proclaimed the covenant on the seventh day.
You declared it and decreed it. We listened and heard it.
You loved this day we inherited, delighting in its remembrance.
And began its command with the word remember, Zachor.
From the time you bestowed it, joy filled the hearts of Jeshurun, the people you redeemed.
Securing the cause of righteousness.
You exalted Shabbat as a sign between us forever. In 6 days your world was formed. On the seventh day you rested.
And on this day, Israel, your people rest.
To honor your name, they sing songs of praise to the one deserving of praise. Page 44, Micha Mocha.
ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה ומרים ובני ישראל, לחנו שירה בשמחה רבה ויאמרו כולם. מיכה בוכה באלים אדוני. מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות. O Seifel Nora Tehilot, O Seifel Malchutecha Ra'u Vanecha Bokeh Hayam Livnei Moshe Zelianu v'amru Zelianu v'amru Adonai Yimloch Leolam va'ed Nemar kivada Adonai et Yaakov Ugalom yad chazak mimenu Baruch ata Adonai Gal Yisrael.
Amen. We sing together Hashkivenu, page 45.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu malkeinu lechayim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom ועמידנו מלכנו לחיים ושמור צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ולשלום מעתה ועד עולם. השיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים. ופרס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ברוך אתה אדוני, הפורן סוכת שלום עלינו וכל עם ישראל ועל ירושלים.
Amen. Please rise if you're able. We're on page 46 as we sing together V'shamru.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם Hay, 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 Beni uvein, Bnei Yisrael, Oti leolam. Ki sheishet yamim, Asa Adonai et hashamayim, Ve'et haaretz. Vayom Hashevi Shabbat Vayin Nafash Vayom Hashevi Shabbat Vayin Nafash
Chatzi Kaddish.
Yitgadal ve'yitgadash Shemer Rabba
Amen.
Be'alma divra kirute V'yamalich malchute B'chayechon u'yomechon U'chaye lechol bet Yisrael Bagala Bagala U'bizman kali Ve'yimaru Amen Yehi Shmer Rabba Mevarach Le'alam Almaya
Yitbarach.
Yitbarach Ve'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitroman V'yitnaseh V'yitaldar V'yitale V'yitalal Shemed HaKudesha Berichu Le'ela Mikol Birchata V'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata Damiran be'alama ve'yimeru Amen.
You can be seated. We were going to pause for a minute. We have the opportunity to share with the community what we're grateful for, what we're thankful for, something good that happened this past week, or maybe something good forward in the coming week. So if you're joining us through Zoom and you'd like to share something, see if you can raise your hand electronically. You have to go into the participant window and press the button raise hand. And then Barry, who's our virtual guide tonight, will spotlight you. You can also try and wave your hand in front of your camera and see if he can catch you. But if you can do it electronically, that's even better. Oh, we already got a couple.
Hi, am I on?
You're on.
You are.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
A few years ago, I shared with the congregation that our daughter completed her academic requirements to be for an administrative credential that would allow her to be a principal. And I said, watch out, she may be coming to a school near you. Well, as it turns out, she's not coming to a school near you, but she is going to be the principal of Wilshire Boulevard Temple's elementary school.
Wow.
Yay.
That's
fantastic.
awesome.
What?
The Browerman School.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Mazel tov,
On the west
mazel tov.
side. So it's close. It's right off the 405. Wonderful.
Right.
Mazel tov.
Are they moving into that area?
No. She lives in the valley, but she's been at the school as a teacher and an assistant principal. So she already knows the lay of the land.
This is our younger daughter.
Yeah.
Mazel tov. That's wonderful.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
I'm
trying to, Linda.
Helene, you're on.
Yes, I would like to thank Joni publicly Greenberg for her help today in helping me get out the acknowledgements to the students who are recipients of the Al Levy Manny Rubenfeld Scholarship Fund to continue their Jewish education at Hebrew High. She was an angel. Thank you, Joni.
And thank you and your family for sponsoring that scholarship. I think we have maybe 5 students this year. It's been the largest class in quite a while.
It's wonderful.
That's fantastic.
And the letters went out on my dad's birthday.
Oh, wonderful.
Sweet.
I'm sorry.
The Bittensons.
Did you want to say something?
No? All right. Well, just Shabbat Shalom, Anita. Oh, but you're still muted.
No, she's. Anybody else?
Anybody else waving your hands?
Yep. Yes.
There we go. Hi,
Yeah,
Ryan.
I am. I just wanted to say I'm thankful that in spite of everything, it's summertime. It could be worse. At least we can get outside even if it's hot. If it were winter, it would be worse.
And the ice cream shops are still open.
Yeah.
Everybody had something to say?
Chazana something.
Well, I just want to say it's been really an amazing couple of weeks. We've been working so hard on getting all of our in-house stuff prepared for the high holidays. And I know it sounds very strange to be talking about the high holidays now, but I cannot, I just have so much gratitude and for Jody, Greenberg in the office who helped schedule everything, to again, JP and Gail and Sherry, who just worked tirelessly in putting things together so that we could actually do our videography stuff here in the sanctuary. And also to all the people that have been working behind the scenes, Gideon, and putting together some really special video stuff that we're going to be doing. And and the piece de resistance, our TRZ Makela, our choir for the high holidays, has been working so hard in creating videos and music recordings to right now, so far away from the holidays, without any rehearsals or anything. And it's just, I want to acknowledge all of them now because they're kind of completing all of their work. So we can now do the editing process and start. Now the rabbi and I just have to get our stuff together.
We're filming next week.
But
I needed time to write my sermons.
And all of you for coming in and being willing to come in and to be willing to participate. And it's been very heartwarming. So again, thank you all and for all of your efforts.
And then come September 18th, we're going on vacation.
Yeah, right.
No, we'll be here.
We'll be here, but we'll be here virtually.
Right.
So.
All right, with all those wonderful things, we'll pray the Amidah privately, 47 to 52 in the Siddur, or you can just take the next few minutes for your own private meditations.
Na 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 Adonai. Na 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 tzvatai tiftach. Na 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 ufi yagid. Ufi yagid tehilatecha.
If you're still praying the Amidah, please continue at your own pace. We're on page 54, Kaddish Shalem.
יתקרב יתקרב שמי רבה.
Amen.
ועלמא דברה כאילו תמליך מלכותי בחייך ומכון וחייך בית ישראל. בעגלה וזמן גרי וימרו אמן.
Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevarach.
לעלם על מעלמיה.
Yitbarach.
יתברך וישתבח ויתפא ויתרנסה ויתרב ויתזלל שמי דקודשה.
בריחו.
בריחו לילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה. תושבחתה ונחמתה תמינן מעלמה וימרו אמן.
Amen.
תתקבע סלוטנו ותהון כל ישראל. קודם והונדי בשמיה וימרו אמן.
Amen.
יהי שלום ורבית שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל וימרו אמן.
Amen.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל וכל יושבי תבל ויאמרו אמן.
Amen. Good Shabbos, everyone. Thank you for joining us again this beautiful Shabbat. So back in 1951, the Israeli government, headed by David Ben-Gurion, petitioned the four powers that were occupying Germany at the time, the US, Britain, France, and the USSR, that Germany should pay Israel reparations. The claim was based actually on 2 points. First, that Israel had absorbed 500,000 refugees because of the war. And second, that Germany shouldn't benefit from killing Jews by then also stealing all of their material wealth as well. So all the property of murdered Jews or its equivalent should be transferred to Israel. Now, even though Ben-Gurion was adamant that this wasn't payment for murdering Jews and that this in no way absolved Germany for that crime, he said this is simply a way of not allowing Germany to benefit by murdering Jews. There were many in Israel, many Holocaust survivors, of course, in particular, who saw it that way, and they were fiercely opposed to it. But in the end, Ben-Gurion's side was actually victorious, and Germany did agree to pay the equivalent of about $7 billion in money back in 1950, which, of course, greatly aided the development of Israel, which was a very poor country in its early years. Now, since the murder of George Floyd and the subsequent protests, many people are becoming aware of how racism has affected so much of American history. We're all reading more books and articles, we're listening to lectures, we're watching videos. Many of you participated in our interfaith dialogue at Time for Empathy on Monday night. We're really trying to deepen our understanding. And one of the issues that has come to the surface again is this issue of reparations. Ta-Nehisi Coates is an author. He's also a journalist. He won a National Book Award for a nonfiction work titled Between the World and Me. He's been awarded a MacArthur Genius Grant. And he wrote a couple of years ago a long article in the Atlantic magazine titled The Case for Reparations. I encourage you to read the entire article. Interestingly, he begins by quoting Deuteronomy. He begins by quoting a section from this week's parasha. It says, Deuteronomy chapter 15, verses 13 through 15, when you set your slave free, don't let him go empty-handed. Furnish him out of your flock, threshing floor, and vat, with which the Lord your God has blessed you. Bear in mind that you were slaves in the land of Egypt, and the Lord your God redeemed you. Now, this law in Deuteronomy and all the slave laws in the Torah, we're not talking about slaves the way that we had slavery here in the United States. These were laws for Israelite slaves, and they were really much more like indentured servants. You owned their work for a period of time. You didn't own their bodies. If you injured an Israelite slave, for example, you had to set them free immediately. But it's interesting to note a development. This is a repetition of a law from the book of Exodus, but it's expanded here in Deuteronomy. In Exodus, you didn't have to give your freed slave anything. But by now, here in the book of Deuteronomy, you do. And all of the medieval rabbinic commentators note that the language implies actually giving generously. Rashi says that the language means to give twice what you think the slave needs. And Rashi explicitly connects the beginning about giving with the end about us being slaves in Egypt. He says, just as the Egyptians gave you gold when you left Egypt, you must give your freed slave valuables. Now, Ta-Nehisi Coates doesn't go into a biblical exegesis in his essay. That's not the point. But by simply beginning with his quote, I think he's pretty clearly saying that the idea of reparations is not new. It's as old as the Bible. And although he doesn't mention it, I assume that he's also saying that if we in the United States say that we're a country based on Judeo-Christian values, things that like President Eisenhower himself personally said, and if in the past the Bible was used to justify slavery, the Bishop Stephen Elliott, he was the Bishop of the Episcopal Church of the United States, he asserted that in the 1850s. Then if we are indeed a country of Judeo-Christian values and of the Bible, then we can use Judeo-Christian values in the Bible as the support for the idea of reparations for African Americans as well. Now, his essay is very detailed. He beautifully weaves together different stories of individuals together with economic and demographic statistics. Let me share with you just a few highlights that I drew from it. First, Coates points out that reparations for slaves is not something new in the United States. He cites a case from 1780 where a freed slave in Massachusetts actually won a claim in court for reparations. And reparations, of course, were certainly being discussed in the Civil War. We're all familiar with the phrase 40 acres and a mule, that freed slaves would be granted that. But that was made as a field order by General Sherman, and it was promptly rescinded by President Johnson in 1865. So basically it was, Mazel tov slaves, you're free, but you start with nothing. No education, of course, no land, no property. So good luck with your freedom. Now, Coates obviously points out, well, we all know that racism didn't end in this country with the freeing of the slaves. And while, of course, we can point to Jim Crow laws as being clearly racist, he says there were racism in other laws that benefited poor people, but just not necessarily poor Black people. He notes that when the law creating Social Security was drafted, it excluded domestic workers who were mostly Black, so that they never received that kind of government protection. Laws creating federally backed mortgages in the beginning of the 20th century excluded many Black families because of redlining. And they were systemically then excluded from being able to build up the kind of wealth that so many other immigrants and so many other families were allowed to. And we see the wealth disparity today. Even the way the GI Bill was drafted and then subsequently the benefits granted, it excluded many Blacks who then were deprived of the benefit of higher education. So he points out systemically, Blacks were kept poor, they were kept uneducated, while other poor Americans were given privileges, were given government benefits that of course worked. We've seen so many other people in America use those kinds of things to build up their wealth and success. So when we hear the argument, well, why can't Blacks just be successful like other minorities? The simple answer is, well, maybe if they had had the same privileges and government handouts that other minorities had, then they would be. And of course, that's without even mentioning how they were disenfranchised from voting, terrorized and lynched and unfairly criminalized. Now, while the title is called The Case for Reparations, Coates doesn't actually go into the economic details of what he thinks reparations should be, other than to say that there's evidence that's clear that Black families are poorer because of slavery and the subsequent racist laws that excluded them from benefits that so many other Americans received. So he doesn't actually propose a resolution. He says simply we should discuss and be willing to openly talk about the issue. He points out that in 1989, or since 1989, I should say, Representative John Conyers has put forth a resolution to every single Congress simply to study the idea of reparations and to then outline some proposals. But after 31 years, the resolution has actually never made it out of committee in Congress, much less been discussed by the full Congress, and of course, it's certainly not been voted on. So why are we afraid to discuss this issue? We've talked about reparations before. In 1988, President Ronald Reagan signed the Civil Liberties Act, which apologized for the internment of Japanese Americans on behalf of the US government. And he authorized the payment of $20,000 to each former internee who was still alive on the date that the act was passed. And the legislation actually admitted that the government actions were based, quote, on race prejudice, war hysteria, and a failure of political leadership. the US government eventually dispersed more than $1.6 billion in reparations to over 82,000 Japanese Americans who were interned. Now, it took 40 years, but I'm glad that we did something right for those Japanese Americans. So why can't we even think about doing something right for African Americans? And if you think that racism is in the past, maybe we should just leave the past alone. Think about the Great Recession that happened just 10 years ago. We know that a big trigger of it was subprime mortgages, which were targeted at African Americans. Coates points out that in 2010, the Justice Department filed a discrimination suit against Wells Fargo, alleging that the bank had shunted Blacks into predatory loans regardless of their creditworthiness. This was not magic, he writes, or coincidence or misfortune. It was racism reifying itself. According to the New York Times, he writes, affidavits were found among loan officers referring to Black customers as quote unquote mud people and to their subprime products as quote unquote ghetto loans. Now, confronting our history and trying to do right and fix our historical wrongs doesn't make us bad people, and it doesn't make us weak. For as Coates points out, to celebrate freedom and democracy while forgetting America's origins in a slavery economy is simply choosing his quote, patriotism a la carte. I know that we can be patriotic. I know that we can love our country, and we can actually show our strength by being willing to deal with the sordid parts of our history and being willing to make amends. We all know that it is a strong person, a confident person who knows that they can own up to their own mistakes and try and make amends. If it's true for a person, it's true for a country as well. Great countries can do the same. Talking about reparations, discussing the issue would be a good place to start. Shabbat Shalom. It is the second Friday of the month, which means it is anniversary Shabbat. We have a number of couples who are celebrating anniversaries in August. I have the dates, but I don't have the year. And I know some of these are probably been around married for a while, but I don't know. So if you're on with us on Zoom and you can tell us how many years it's been, that would be lovely. But I'll go through my list and then we'll see if anybody's with us on Zoom and you can tell us how many years it's been. So celebrating on August 1st, David and Rebecca Diamond. On August 4th, Amy and Don Graham. On August 6th, Muriel and Chris Blondeau. On August 9th, Andrew and Pilar Feldman and Paul and Connie Brockman. On August 10th, David and Lynn Lertzman. On August 11th, Mark and Blanche Kravitz. On the 14th, that's today, I think, Ruth and Donald Blumpkin. On the 15th, Roger and Rose Steinberg. On the 16th, Daniela and Morris Levy. On the 17th, Arnold and Elaine Roth. I think I saw them. They'll be able to tell us how many years. On the 17th, Sandy and Ruby Hertzberg. They're not watching us on YouTube because I talked to them earlier this week and they haven't figured it out. But there's something like celebrating like 72 years of marriage. Incredible. It might even be more. They're both in their mid to late 90s. They're incredible. On the 20th, Ed and Eileen Echt. On the 21st, Bobby and Roger Sadikoff. On the 22nd, Howard and Karen Langfus. On the 23rd, Yossi and Audrey Amzalag. On the 24th, David and Maxine Fixman. On the 25th, Irv and Joyce Tesler. On the 27th, Mark and Eileen Weinstein. You'll be able to tell us we saw you before. On the 29th, Carolyn and Scott Lertzman. And on the 30th, Herman and Mickey Desser. So anybody who's joining us want to tell us how many years or what's a happy anniversary occasion that you've celebrated in the past?
Well, 48 years of wedded bliss.
That's not what she says.
And how many for you, Eileen?
You know, she told me not to say 48, but it seems like 72.
Oh. You want it to seem like 72. You want it to just go on and on.
Well, you know, we're not big celebrators. We did have a weekend at the Bel Air a few years ago that was quite nice.
That's
we'll
a,
leave.
that's a swank hotel.
Yes.
Arnold and Elaine, are you able to tell us? I saw your picture before.
Yes, I'm here. Elaine is also here. It's been 62 years. We were married in 1958.
Wow.
Wow, Mazel Tov.
Mazel tov.
Hey, there you are.
And
We're married longer than some of the people here.
What did she say?
Longer than some of the people have been
do
alive.
you unmute yourself?
How do I do that?
I can't tell you. Okay. She says we've been married longer than some of the people here, but
Or alive.
okay, or alive.
Including the two
in
of
any
us.
Case,
Yeah.
it's been an interesting 62 years. Good and bad, but mostly good. And we're about to celebrate on Monday,
Enjoy.
the 17th,
Mazel tov.
and we will
I wasn't sure.
go
I
take
can't
a
see
little
the-
trip.
Nice.
That's
I
it.
wasn't sure. I couldn't see the full list. If there's anyone else who's celebrating this month who's with us on Zoom, wants to pop in. Yeah. Now, hopefully, you notice the new lights we got in the back, the blue and the purple in the back.
Well, we can change the
There
color.
you go, Irving.
Oh, they're the Teslers. All right.
You have to unmute yourselves to tell us 57.
You have to unmute yourself.
There we go.
Okay.
Now we can hear that it's 57.
57.
57. Glorious years.
Mazel tov. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Anyone else on Zoom amongst our illustrious group? All right, so we want to wish all our anniversaries the following blessing. May God bless our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. Bless all who are celebrating their anniversaries in August, who are here today giving gratitude to God for all the years that they have been afforded together. May the Holy Blessed One protect and deliver them. May they continue to enjoy God's blessings in the years to come, always living together in joy and gladness, in peace and companionship. And we all say,
Amen. Simen Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simen Tov, Simen Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simen Tov, Simen Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simen Tov. Yehei lanu, Yehei lanu, Yehei lanu, Oregol Yisrael. Yehei lanu, Oregol Yisrael. Yehei lanu, Olechol Yisrael. Yehei lanu, Olechol Yisrael. Mazal Tov.
please rise now if you're able for Aleinu. We're on page 56.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשינו כגויי הרצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות אדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומשה ויקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובה מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אבן זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום וישבת אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד, אין עוד. ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
You may be seated in love. Remember those who no longer walk this earth. We're grateful to God for the gift of their lives, for the joys we shared, and for the cherished memories that never fade. This week will mark the yahrzeits of Meir Benjamin, Joseph Berger, Saul Bergstein, Louis Bernstein, Fred Daniel Biddle, Edith Blatt, Ruth Bledstein, Nathan Brown, Elihov Christian, Samuel Edelman, Nathan Entus, Barry Farkas, David Finkel, Herman Hyman Fleischer, Morris Friedlander, Julia Frisch, David Gilder, Joseph Grinblatt, Bert Hirsch, Ann Hirschhorn, Esther Hirschon, Harry Honigsber, Herbert Horwitz, Maxine Kosoy, Harry Kosoy, Lillian Krevitt, Tom Larman, Sidney Lodge, Joseph Luskin, Ephraim Manatlik, Betty Padwa, Cecilia Pepper, Sam Polikow, Fanny Rosen, Gertrude Ruderman, Esther Silver, Nahoma Tucker, Milton Waldner, Murray Walmark, Morris Weitzman, Max Wolf, Gladys Wolf, and Bessie Zlotkin. Those in mourning, those observing yahrzeit, please rise and join together with me in sanctifying God's name with the words of the mourner's Kaddish. If you're joining us through Zoom and you'd like, you can unmute your microphones now so we can all say the Kaddish together. Page 58. Yitgadal
Yitkadosh Shmei Rabba.
Alma divrach yamlich malchutei chayachon yom echon chayei dechol Beit Yisrael v'galav bizman kariv amen. Shmei Rabba mevorach
לעולם ולעולם היה.
יתברך וישבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי בקדושה בריחו לעילם עם כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו amen. Amen. Happy to turn it over to Susan Lookenbill, the president of TRZ, for a few announcements. Is Susan with us tonight?
I don't think so.
Maybe not. Okay. I guess I'll give a few announcements. So Yasher Koch to the Chazan.
Yasher Koch to the rabbi.
Thank you. Beautiful to have you with us tonight. It is membership renewal season. High holidays are about 5 weeks away. So please turn in your membership right away. If you're not sure how to do it online and you need a little help, just call into the office and Deborah Joni would be more than happy to help you fill it out online. Our high holiday services will be completely virtual. We will have some parts of the majority of the main services that you're familiar with will be videos that you will log, that you will watch on trz.org. You will also be able to do some Zoom discussions in the afternoons. And we'll also have one in-person part of high holidays. We'll be doing a drive-through on our parking lot for shofar blowing and tashlich. It's all going to be detailed when you get the shofar coming out the beginning of September with the entire run of services and everything. And we'll send out a lot of emails and we'll practice to make sure everybody knows how to do the different parts. But we're really excited that we're able to use the technology to great effect so that we can have meaningful services, even though we can't all be together in the same room. In the preparation for the high holidays, the month of Elul, that's the last month of the Hebrew year, we are doing something every single day except Shabbat. You saw that in the weekly email and in its own email, a full month's worth of programming to help prepare us for the high holidays. Different things, some things for younger, some things for older, some things for any age, book club, meditation and midot with the Chazan, story time for little kids, baking classes, cooking classes. It's all the same Zoom link. And so whenever you want to participate, just click or just type in that Zoom link and you'll be able to participate in those programming. It's going to be really a wonderful way to get us in the mood for the high holidays this year. The Chazan's podcast is still going on.
Going on Wednesday nights. It goes live on at 5, but then it rebroadcasts at 7 o'clock on YouTube. Had some wonderful discussions with some amazing musicians, Jewish musicians. So
Yeah,
30
please-
minutes. It's quick. It's fast. And
Please
they're,
enjoy it.
It's a lot of fun.
If you haven't registered your kids yet for religious school, Julia had some great town halls and explained how religious school is going to work in this virtual environment. We need you to register. First day of religious school, I believe, is the last Sunday in August. So it's coming up really soon. I think a bunch of kids are starting school next week. So mazel tov to the kids who are starting school. 2 weeks, we have a bar mitzvah. Sean Tsur is going to be celebrating. So we're looking forward to that as well. We have at least one more, if we'll keep doing, if people like it. Happy hour, Tuesday at 5 o'clock. No agenda. We have some agenda. I pick a topic and we kind of share things. The first one we shared either fun or funny or sad, unromantic stories because it was on Tu B'Av, the Jewish Valentine's Day. Last Tuesday we discussed funny misadventures or adventures that we've taken.
And is it you make your own cocktails?
Make your own cocktail.
Do you share recipes and things like that?
No.
I missed it. So
bring whatever you want. I'm drinking a non-alcoholic malted drink, which I enjoy at 5 o'clock, and some pretzels. And other people are picking whatever they want, a glass of wine, glass of lemonade, just something to share a l'chaim over. It's a nice chance to just schmooze for a little while with nothing else to do. Trying to think, am I missing anything?
I think you got it.
Rabbi, on the email for the things during the month of Elul, I sent an email back saying I couldn't read it. The printing was so tiny.
Oh.
I don't know if anybody else.
You can try enlarging it before you print it out. It's also, if you look on the calendar at TRZ, every day has an event. Every day that there's an event, you can click on and see what it is and read more about it. I'll see if we can, when you click on it, it will print out nice and big.
Yeah, but I think you may be able to also expand it while you look at it. So that's.
I tried and it was very difficult. I just thought maybe.
Well, give me a call and I'll help you through it. Okay.
Okay.
I think I can help. Tech support.
Yeah, I've learned so much about technology.
I'm changing computers this week. So
That's probably a good thing.
It's going to be much harder.
Okay.
I would love to hear from anyone who would like to have an honor on Saturday morning. I know you're all Friday night people, but come Saturday morning, enjoy the service. And we'd love to give you an honor. Just let me know. Larry Schwartz, LWS1CPA at AOL.com. Come on and join us. It's really great having everybody participating together on Shabbat morning.
Oh, and I forgot, Larry, I got to thank you too, and have a lot of gratitude for what you've been doing to keep us online for the high holidays also. So again, thank you very much. Very gracious.
Yes, so just because we're virtual doesn't mean you can't participate. As Larry said, there's things you can do. You can read Torah from home. So we'd be happy to have you participate on Saturday mornings with us. So please sign up if it's of interest to you. Or we'll conclude with
Ojavo.
Ojavo Shalom Aleinu. May peace soon come to us.
Ojavo Shalom Aleinu. Ojavo Shalom Aleinu. Ojavo Shalom Aleinu. Ve'al kulam. Ojavo Shalom Aleinu. Ojavo Shalom Aleinu. Ojavo Shalom Aleinu. Ve'al kulam. Salam. Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam. Shalom. Salam. Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam. Shalom. Shabbat shalom,
Good Shabbos, everyone. Have a beautiful evening.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Everybody stay well and healthy.
Okay.